Been physical. To have that come to a screeching halt was something I really couldn't live with. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, I was totally a grumpy old man. When I got my Teeter, that's when it all changed for me. And the more I worked my back, the more relief my back gave me. And that's when I knew that this machine really works. It's so simple and yet so effective. If it wasn't for the Teeter, I wouldn't be the person I am today. It put the smile back on my face. If I was face to face with Roger Teeter, I would cry like a baby because what he gave me was my life back. And I thank him. I thank him for that.
You can just tell me in person.
Oh, God. Thank you, sir. I didn't know you were going to be here.
I love my job, and it's because of testimonies like yours. I wrecked my back, and Inversion changed my life. This is not a gimmick. We're not just selling product. We're selling a changed lifestyle.
Yes.
So many people have written off their ability to move freely because of old age. No, it's the long-term effects of gravity combined with lifestyle, posture, and a whole lot of other things. Teeter's a way to fight back against that.
I can't thank you enough.
My favorite part about that is when Roger comes up behind him and surprises him. He's like in tears. But we have, let me just tell you which model we have today. So this is the latest, the greatest. This has a brand new bed that has a floating suspension system so that you're able to have more comfort as you're inverting. So the discount is $120, and the discount is just for this visit. So when they leave, the discount goes away. And interesting enough, when over 20 years ago, when they launched here at HSN, it was $329 for the inversion table. So 20 years later, with all those upgrades and patents, we're doing the top of the line today at an event price. We are also doing 6 flex payments, so it's under $55 to get home. I'm gonna introduce you to the founder and president. This guy right here, hanging upside down, chillaxing, as always, Roger Teeter.
You don't need to go upside down, by the way. A lot of people do because it feels good, but you don't have to go upside down to get all the benefits. So that's how.
I love it, Roger.
Yeah.
And we've been doing shows together for years, and I was talking to your daughter, Riley, who's also here. Hi, Riley. Riley is vice president, and Matt is here as well. He just was wandering around the hallway and wanted to feel better. We really don't know who he is.
Yes, thank you.
But I was saying that I had done several shows, and I bought one for myself, and as somebody who's, I'm 56, I'm pretty sure I'm 56 or 57. I forget how old I am. That's how old I am, Roger. I can't remember how old I am. That when I've been working out, like I started working out again, pretty heavy. It's like, it's so different when I was in my 20s. This is really helping me keep like fit and able to enjoy life.
That is such an important point, Helen, because I know a lot of people, when their back starts to hurt and the joints start to hurt, that's when they become less active.
Right.
And that's when the weight gain comes and all of this stuff. So, and it's not fun to get into an exercise program to lose weight when your back's killing you.
Right.
Get rid of the back pain and you'll have that energy of a younger person and be able to do the things not only that you love, but be able to get active and, you know, in an aggressive program for exercise if you want to.
Yeah, and over 2.5 million of the Teeter tables have been sold. This FDA registered as a class 1 device and safety certified. I mean, and it comes 85% assembled. There's so many things. Here's the indication for use: back pain, a sciatica, I mean, a spinal degenerative joint disease, spinal curvature due to tight muscles, muscle tension. So when you look at all this, like herniated disc, degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, facet syndrome, muscle spasms. We don't have anything else at the network. We're not allowed to say any of this stuff. I mean, this is the only product that we've ever had, and we don't have any other inversion tables.
Well, and yeah, FDA finally came to the party 2 years ago and agreed Teeter is a class 1 medical device and allowed us to say Teeter's indicated for all those things. And the reason Teeter works for all of that variety of things caused by many different, you know, either misalignments or pinched nerves or stress muscles is because Teeter deals with back pain 4 different ways. The most significant one is decompression. As you relax with your ankles clamped, and your own body weight is going to add traction so that you elongate. You'll elongate 1 to 2 inches as you're inverting. This animation shows you, first thing you're gonna feel is those stressed out shoulder muscles letting go. And as the tension leaves your shoulders, the spine is going to start elongating and straightening out. See, there's a little bit of curvature there, that's straightened out. Here's a big deal. Decompressing those joints. You have a pinched nerve, take the pressure off. Less pressure is less pain. So again, it decompresses, takes the pressure off, it helps realignment, stretches and relaxes paraspinal muscles, and it helps the disc to rehydrate, to pick up that nutrition, and to become more vitalized and more flexible. So 4 different ways that Teeter relieves back pain.
Well, let's take a tour of the inversion table, Roger.
Okay. Well, first of all, this has been upgraded so many times, and we've tried to consider everything, even storage. So there we are, just 2 seconds in, another second out. It's adjustable from 4'8", 6'6", 300-pound weight capacity, and that's with a 400% safety factor. We're going to talk a lot about safety because you are hanging upside down by your ankles.
And this is the FitSpine. I have a different model. I don't have the FitSpine. I want to see where the more comfortable bed now.
Yeah, actually, this table is completely redesigned. It's a new look, new colors, and the reason that drove it is you. Because, we've got, if you check, we're 4.8, almost all 5 stars. But every once in a while, people say, I just wish it was more comfortable. Because we do have a hard surface, because the big deal on inversion is decompression. You need to be able to slide. And you can't put foam on the bed, because then you sink into the foam, it fights the decompression. What we did is completely re-engineer the bed. If you see, the bed is now lifted off the A-frame, and it's actually supported on 8 points of suspension, so the bed floats. When you sit on it, you actually can sink in an inch, inch and a half, and not only is it more comfortable when you sit on it, but it actually moves with you.
Look at that.
When you rotate. So that is a big deal. A one-piece bed, and then going through the other features, comfort dial foot platform. This is big shoes, small shoes. These ankle securing devices, they are extremely comfortable. It took 3 generations of tooling to get everything just right. This hard backing gives you the security you want, and then almost 3/4 of an inch of foam covering your entire ankle. It's even designed ergonomically.
What height can you be to get on this, Roger?
4'8" to 6'6".
4'8" to 6'6". What about weight capacity?
300-pound capacity.
300-pound capacity. That's a pretty wide range of people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this Easy Reach handle, this is a very significant upgrade. And micro adjustments, this is actually designed for our clinical version. Well, this is the clinical version. And the idea is that if your back is really bothering you, you don't have to bend over to get a small locking pin. We have the color-coded strap that allows you to preset your maximum angle, and you can adjust it. The color coding allows you as a guide for different
and that's
angles.
good for somebody who gets at home and inverts for the first time, right?
Yes, well, and some people use the strap all the time.
Okay.
You don't, it's there for you, if you wish.
Well, however you want.
Traction handles, my favorite upgrade. These allow you to go to partial inversion, maybe even as little as 20, 30 degrees, and then use arm power to further decompress the body as though you were in full inversion. I'll demonstrate those. This lumbar bridge, you can position it any place in these. You got lots of choices for height and location. And this does some very unique job. My daughter calls it a bump butt, a butt bump. I got it backwards.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but the idea is,
bumper.
Right, by putting it low, so that when you sit on it, it kind of catches your butt.
Right, so you don't slide.
And it squares your hips. Now think about that. When you go to the chiropractor, what's the first thing they do? They check your hips to see if one is higher and lower. And this will square your hips before it starts putting traction on. The acupressure nodes, there's 8 of them, 2 of each of 4 sizes, and those are your thumbs. You got that knot in your back that you just wish somebody could push on. Well, these thumbs, you can position in any one of these locations on the bed or even, get that pressure relief, that instant relief that you're looking for.
All right, well, let's learn a little bit more about this and take a listen to Dr. Fryer and Dr. Long, and then Roger and I will be right back.
So when you decompress, there is a lengthening of the spine. And by doing so, with a greater disc height, you've got more room for the nerves, there's less compression with the facet joints, and the spine is just much happier.
For the past 53 years, I've been a neurosurgeon with a major interest in chronic pain and dealing with many patients with back pain. Most patients tell me if they use their Teeter inversion table on a regular basis, they simply feel much better. No one has to do anything to you, and I think it's a very natural way to deal with the problem.
I am so honored that many of the doctors that we have are actually internationally famous, at least famous throughout the US. Dr. Long is actually internationally famous. He's the head of neurosurgery for 35 years at one of the largest universities in the United States. And he uses the Teeter in his practice, and he uses it personally. I got Spiny out here because it's so important that you understand what drives back pain. First of all, you've got your brain. The brain controls everything in your body through these nerves. There's 2 nerves for each of the discs. So these nerves are extremely important to have good communication. Well, if you have a thin disc or a herniated disc or anything like that, you might have a pinched nerve. That can generate, if it's a nerve that goes down the leg, it generates what we call sciatica, pain down the leg. It also be pain down the shoulder. And it's so important to keep these holes that the nerves come through nice and clear. And the discs, they control the size of the holes, so that keeping the disc hydrated, that is thicker, full of moisture, so that the opening is large, is extremely important.
You can almost feel it, Roger, when you're going upside. I can almost feel it, like, you know, my spine lengthening, the fluid go. I mean, it really, you feel different. This isn't something, by the way, we've got an hour show. I want to remind everybody, you don't do this for an hour a day, right?
3 to 5 minutes. 3
to 5 minutes, and that is it for a huge, huge difference. And by the way, we would love to hear from you during the show. If you use the inversion table from Teeter, give us a call. Let me pop up our toll-free testimonial line. It's 1-866-376-8255. I gave you my testimonial, and you're gonna listen to lots of other people during the show, but the most important person is you. We wanna know what your experience was and is using this, and we're gonna jump on the machine now, right?
I'm gonna jump on it, but I wanna introduce you to one more doctor, Dr. Nakamson. He did a medical study in Gothenburg University in Sweden a number of years ago, and that study is in a lot of textbooks. That bright light you just saw, that is the location of a surgically implanted pressure sensor. Now, there were a lot of people in the study, but each individual, whatever that reading was standing up, was given a baseline for them personally at 100% standing. And then they moved to different body positions to see what happened. Look at that. The pressure doubled, but you knew that. You knew you had to be careful. Did you know that? 50% higher load sitting to taking the load off?
Wow.
Yeah, your muscles and dump it on your back. There's your formula for back pain. That's what our lifestyle does to us. In front of computers, all this sitting, 250% higher load on that lumbar area than standing. And that last 25%, that's another surprise. It goes to bed with you. You know, but that last 25% is not caused by gravity. It's caused by the construction of the spine. You have hundreds and hundreds of ligaments and 140 muscles in 4 layers. They stabilize the spine, but they also hold it in background compression like a lot of rubber bands. But those rubber bands are very strong. So to overcome that rubber band effect, you need to pull traction with about 60% of your body weight. And you can do that by going to roughly 60 to 70 degree angle, or at any angle, even 20 degrees, you can use the traction handle and get the same amount of decompression.
All right, Roger, I know you're gonna jump on and show us how it's done.
All right, well, first of all, I wanna show you what it says. We have this guide. We have a 1, 2, 3. It's as simple as that. You set it for your height. The last number that you can read is my height in inches and centimeters. You put this strap on that stops you at whatever angle you're comfortable with. That's 2, 3. Step in and just ratchet back. You know, it doesn't have to be really tight, just snug. And then lean back, and this table is rotating just solely on the weight of one arm. Now, if you think that might be too responsive for you, well, that's what these oversized handles are for. They're kind of like training, wheels on a bicycle. You can just walk yourself back. So let's say you go to this angle, and you don't need to go any further than this for stress relief and so many benefits. But if you do have one of the serious ones like sciatica or herniated disc, but you don't feel comfortable going to more angle, you can use the traction handles and mechanically use arm power and push and further elongate your body as though you were in full inversion.
Roger, I would love for you to tell everybody at home your personal story of how you got into this from the beginning.
I like most of you, I wrecked my back, I'm talking about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I say wrecked, on worst days, I couldn't even get out of bed. I had to roll onto the floor and crawl hands and knees into the shower to get hot water in my back just to be able to stand up. I tried everything to get relief. That went on almost 5 years. Nothing really worked until I found inversion. The relief I got was temporary, but it lasted longer and was more effective than anything else I tried. And by doing it on a regular basis, I've been pain-free ever since, 35 years, and doing the same things that caused the back.
Is this you, Roger?
Yeah, this is me. I love water skiing. I got water skiing 40 times last summer. And teaching these guys water skiing, that's precious.
Are those your grandchildren?
My grandkids, I mean, to be able to go in and actually ski with them,
right,
and do things, there's nothing like that. That's the way retirement should be.
Right, exactly. You work your whole life, have some time off, and you don't want to spend it like, ouch, my back hurts. And it's kind of a cycle, right? You start working out or taking a walk or doing something, your back hurts, so then you go sit on the couch. And the longer you sit on the couch, the worse the back's going to be. So it's just like a cycle.
It's a circle, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And okay, I've taken the tether strap off. And I'd like you to, I would hope you get to be comfortable to work up to this angle. Again, you don't have to go this far.
You're going full vampire bat.
No, I'm not yet. I'm still. But this is, I've got a grip right here. There's a little bump.
I was just trying to make Matt laugh.
Okay, so I can hang on to this, and I can pull or I can push on the handles and just move my body around. Now, full inversion, you don't need to go here. But believe it or not, 50% of regular invertees do go to full inversion because you've got the freedom. You've got all this elongated body, and all of a sudden you can do things that you haven't been able to do for 20, 30 years. When you're over 80 like I am in 81 this year, it's functional fitness that counts. That means joints that work so that you can keep...
You're 81?
Well,
you're 81?
You got a couple more months. I'm 80, okay?
That's pretty good.
All right, so bring on those grandkids.
All right, embarrassingly, you're better in shape than I am. So, well, I want all of you guys to get this home and try the machine, but I want you to do it today, and here's why. It's $120 off. It's an event price. So when this product launched 20 years ago here on the network, and it has been a very successful item for decades. It started at $329. And it was the original version. It didn't have the latest and greatest. It didn't have all the upgrades and everything. You're getting the top of the line upgraded version for $329.95. That's $120 off. You also get 6 months to pay it off with no interest. And if you're new to HSN, welcome. This is a perfect item to get at HSN as your first purchase, because yes, it is in an infomercial, but we have the best price anywhere. If you experience back pain, sciatica, spinal degenerative joint disease, spinal curvature due to tight muscles, muscle tension, if you're experiencing herniated disc or any of these things, from the facet syndrome to spinal stenosis to the degenerative disc disease, muscle spasms. I mean, who has not ever experienced? That's really kind of all of us. Put down $54.99. Let us send it to you. You have unconditional money back guarantee. If you don't love it, you can send it back. But we're not exaggerating. We sell a lot of things here at HSN. And some things, like, oh, you're gonna like this, make you look pretty. This one can change your life. We can't really say that about a lot of things we have here, but we can say that about this.
A way to keep youthful function. We all want to keep our youth. Right?
Yeah, of course.
And we want to be youthful looking, so we take care of our skin. And by the way, we don't wait for the wrinkles to show up before we start a maintenance program for our skin, right? So even if you don't have back pain, you still need Teeter maintenance to keep youthful function, youthful flexibility of all weight-bearing joints. That's ankles, knees, hips, all the joints of the back. And you know, when you got back pain, you don't have a lot of choices. In fact, most of the choices that you'd get today traditionally don't deal with the problem, they cover up the symptoms. What good is that? Your back's still screaming, you just can't hear it? What good is that? Teeter deals with the problem naturally at the source in 3 to 5 minutes. You know, I mean, it is a life changer.
Right. Well,
it's effortless.
Let's hear from some folks that are going to tell you their experience. So this is Nancy and Jim. I want to introduce you to them, and I want you to take a listen to their story.
My back started to really bother me. I don't want to go through life being less and less of myself. I want to be able to do everything and anything that I want to do. The first time that I laid on the teeter, I got on there, locked my ankles in, laid back, and it was just a relief. I knew it was going to work for me. It's beautifully engineered. It doesn't take up very much space in your house. It's very easy to schedule it into your life. You lay down, you relax, you can meditate for a few minutes, you get off, and you're a new person. The biggest difference the teeter table has made in my life is that I have physical freedom. I'm probably really boring because when anyone complains to me about their back, I say, well, have you tried a teeter table? It helped me so much you have no idea.
Pain was part of my life, and not doing the things I love became part of my life. My daughter stopped asking me to do anything anymore with her because it's always my back, my back. The teeter comes along, and it's like the light bulb goes off in my brain. I felt my body completely stretch out. Life is great again because I can live it, because I can participate in it. Now that the teeter's here, Jim is back! Jim is back, and they cannot stop me.
Well, he definitely looks really happy.
I love that because it's the way I felt, you know, after I found out that inversion really could change my life. You know, I want to, now, what is gravity doing to us? It's the most powerful force on your body over your lifetime, and it changes your body shape. And I want to show you an animation of an aging spine. Now, this person is not gaining weight. Keep that in mind, but he sure is changing body shape, losing height. And when you lose height, because your body mass is the same, you bulge out in the center. It's like a compression wrinkle. In fact, a lot of that middle-age spread isn't weight gain, it's internal organs winning the race to the floor. Now, the reason the older gentleman is as flexible is the height loss, which is actually more serious than the figure loss, is in the soft tissue of the joints. That's where your flexibility is, your shock absorption. That's the thing that makes you feel old, that stops you from doing the things that you love to do. What could you be doing now if your back wasn't bothering you? Right. Well, decompress it, help those discs to rehydrate, to get their nutrition back, to improve their flexibility and all of this, and start being active again.
Right, agreed. Is it time for me to jump on, Roger?
I'm sure.
Is it, okay, so the first, what? Oh, okay. So as I'm 5'5", so the first thing you do is you change it for your height. Actually, that's the only thing you do. And I'm going to jump on this, but I'm going to welcome a caller into our show. So my name is Helen. This is Roger, Riley, and Matt. Tell us your name and where are you calling from? Caller, you're on live.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes,
what is your
we
name?
hear you.
Oh, my name is Marion.
Oh.
Hi.
I have had one of these boards for 20 years.
Whoa.
Yes, I believe it was one of the first times you were on HSN, and my husband is 79, and I'm 60, and he plays golf 3 times a week, and is a scratch golfer, and this thing is the best thing since sliced bread.
Love to hear that.
Okay.
We have never had the opportunity to upgrade, but it's still as good as it was in the when I got it. I pick up food every day from a local grocery store that donates to our food bank, and I average 300 to 400 pounds a day.
Wow.
Of lifting.
Upwards of 600 pounds, and I do it myself. And the teeter board keeps my back going. It keeps my knees going, and I would recommend it to anyone.
I love that, Marion. Can I ask you how old you are?
I'll be 60 in June.
Good for you. Happy birthday in June. I'm a June baby too, so good for you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and it's the best investment you can have in your health.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you so much for calling. You know, this is just, it's so easy to kind of, control it.
Yeah, now go ahead and raise it. We may have the tether strap on. It's going to stop.
Oh, it is?
There we are.
I'm the only thing I'm worried about, honestly, is my shirt. I'm not worried about me. Okay, now I'm good. I'll go slow. I actually, you know, I do this all the time, so I should go slower, but I kind of just usually just go straight back. But it's so relaxing. Like I could just like doze off. It feels amazing.
And you know, even though you might be targeting a specific problem in the back, in the lumbar area or the neck or whatever, it's actually decompressing all weight-bearing joints, and it's important you understand it's progressive decompression. Progressive decompression. What I mean is every joint is being decompressed by exactly the same weight that it normally has to carry. The small joints of the neck are being decompressed by the weight of the neck. The ankle joints are being decompressed by what, 90% of your body weight. And it's when you invert, you're getting that stressed out shoulder muscles let go. As you relax, you will elongate 1 to 2 inches. That's a real number, I'm not exaggerating. And those joints opening up, taking the pressure off. You got a pinched nerve, a misaligned joint. When it decompresses, it'll realign itself. Stretching and relaxing paraspinal muscles and helping the disc to rehydrate.
So Roger, we have another phone call.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm gonna invite another caller in. Hi caller, you're live on the air with Helen and Roger. What is your first name? What is your name?
My name is Ann.
Hi, Ann.
All right. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Florida/Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
And I have probably one of the most unusual testimonials on the Teeter.
All right.
I have back problems, and I have had for years and years. We spend the winters in Florida, and I happened to see the show one day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need that thing. So we ordered one, it came, my husband put it together, and in the springtime, we go back to Pennsylvania. So we folded it up, and we stuck it in the van, and we drove it to Pennsylvania. So we're coming back to Florida in the winter. We pack it up again and bring it back down here. Well, after doing that for about 2 years, I said to him, you know what? I don't want to haul this thing anymore. I need another one.
There you go.
That's what I was going to say.
I have two. I have one in western Pennsylvania, and I have one on the Treasure Coast in Florida.
All right.
It's awesome to know that wherever I am, I have a Teeter.
And why do you feel like you need to have it wherever you go? What does it do for you?
Oh my gosh, it's just like everybody says. It just stretches you. I move a lot of things in my line of work. I lift heavy things, and over the years, I have not been real good with my back, and I'm 66, and I need it stretched, and it's just wonderful. I really, really, it's just has given me, like a lot of people say, it's kind of gives you your life back. You know, you don't wake up in all the pain, and you just feel more flexible, and it's just a really, really good piece of equipment. Although I would say, I wish I had that handle that allows you to lift when I bought mine, you still have to bend over so far, and I'm short, you know, to release the spring at the bottom.
Yes.
Oh, hold on a second, Ann. Is that an upgrade they can buy, or is that?
They can call customer service, and we can ship out just that part.
Okay, and so the vice president and president are here on the TV with me. So, and if you call customer service for the Teeter company,
just look on your owner's manual. You'll have our phone number right there. You give us a call, and customer service will take care of you. And say you called in, and so Riley says you get a special deal.
Wow. How's that, Ann?
Okay, that sounds great. I'll do that.
All right, thank you so much for calling, Ann, and thank you for being a part of your show. You know, honestly, I got chills when she said it. You know, her story is back hurts, really changed her life. I mean, when you get up in the morning and you think, what am I gonna do today? Am I gonna sit at the couch all day? Or am I gonna take a hike by the lake? Am I gonna see my grandkids and take a bike ride? I mean, to be honest, I couldn't water ski when I was 20, so I probably can't do it when I'm 50 because I'm not Roger, but I wanna be able to like go dancing. I want the things that I love to do, I wanna always be able to do them. And it really just warms my heart when I hear you guys saying it. So keep the calls coming throughout the presentation. Listen, for the price of one massage, we will send this home to you. Think about that. $54.99, the shipping and handling is $10. $64.99 plus tax. That's all you put down for us to send it to you. It's FlexPay's not like layaway. You don't pay it off and then get the item. You get it right away and then you pay it off over time if you decide to keep it. If you could send it back if you want. You don't have to keep it. But I will tell you, instead of getting that next unsatisfying massage that maybe feels good for 5 minutes and then by the time you get in the car and drive home, you're stressed again, how about having that in your home for when you want it? 3 to 5 minutes a day. This isn't something that you have to do, you know, get on the bike for an hour to feel better. 3 to 5 minutes a day. And I know we have more testimonies from Dr. Tantz is someone who has a lot of information.
Another nationally renowned doctor. He's a senior orthopedic surgeon at a Trauma One Center in San Diego. And I want you to listen carefully to two things he said, because I'm gonna bring him back, because I want to bring him back and talk about him again, because it's so important you understand what he's talking about. So let's hear from Dr. Tantz.
The discs that sit here are like shock absorbers we have on the car. So when you get up in the morning, you may be 6'1". When you go to bed at night, you're actually about 6'1½". You lose 1/4 to 1/2 inch of height as these shock absorbers get squeezed and the water comes out of them. Then when you're asleep, they rehydrate. One of the advantages, I think, of Roger's device is that you can do this during the day too and give yourself kind of a break from the constant pressure on your back and on these shock absorbers to allow them to rehydrate by taking all the pressure off and letting them have some freedom. People that get on a standard routine and do it again and again do far better than people that go for 3 weeks of therapy and then re-injure again in a year, go for 3 weeks therapy. A daily routine, which is what Roger's recommending, I think is a very good way of getting your back in great shape so that as we stay vertical for our lives, we don't start breaking down later on.
Okay, now what were the two things he said? It's test time. First of all, you know, it's a maintenance program. Doing it on a regular basis helps you keep that youthful flexibility. It's taking care of youthful function of your joints on a daily basis, just the way you take care of the youthful appearance of your skin on a daily or, you know, semi-weekly basis. And the other point is the fact that you change height daily. Yes, you do. We all lose, you know, 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of height every day. And that's because these discs, which are fluid-filled shock absorbers, all these dark lines, they lose fluid. When you're upright, your own body weight starts to squeeze moisture out of these discs. They become thinner. Now, that can be a big deal in the sense that the discs control the size of the opening that these nerves come through. So a thin disc can mean a pinched nerve, that's sciatica, it's down, a pain down your leg or down your arm. And just as even more important, all of these nerves control all of the responses of the body. The whole connection between the brain and every other part of the body is through these nerves. So you need to keep good open communication. When you invert, these discs open up. They're encouraged to rehydrate, pick up more moisture so they're thicker when you come back up, and takes the pressure off a pinched nerve, a sciatica. When the pressure's off, if there's a misalignment, that could be another problem. It's naturally caused to realign itself. Or if you have a herniated disc, this model here shows a disc blowout. Now this is really painful. You don't have, you can see that looks like painful here, that where the soft tissue inside the disc is squeezed out and pushing on nerves. When you invert and relax and decompress that joint, it helps to pull that bulge or that rupture back in. That's one reason we want you to do it immediately before bed, because if you decompress and help the spine to recover in that 3 to 5 minutes and then roll into bed, your body has a lot less work to shove you back in shape by morning.
Yeah, and let's check in again with what the FDA says we're allowed to say, because you know, we're telling you a lot of benefits. We have callers calling in. I know I've got another caller coming, but this is 100% you know, something you're looking at on the screen, what the FDA is saying about it, right, Roger?
Right, back pain, sciatica, spinal degenerative joint disease. By the way, that's the same as osteoarthritis. It's just a different name. Spinal curvature due to tight muscles, muscle tension, and then you've got herniated discs, degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, facet syndrome, muscle spasm. You know, those problems are caused, that pain is caused by many different issues, but Teeter actually deals with all of them.
Right.
Because it relieves back pain 4 different ways. First of all, it takes the pressure off. Open the joint up. You got a pinched nerve, take the pressure off. If you have a misalignment, when you take the pressure off and bring the joint to at or near 0, and you mobilize it, it'll realign itself. Stretches and relaxes paraspinal muscles, which can be causing pain by pulling the spine into curvature, and it helps the disc to rehydrate, to pick up additional nutrition and keeping youthful flexibility.
Roger, do I want to take another phone call?
Oh, fantastic. I love phone calls.
Okay, you're live on the air with Helen and Roger. What is your name?
Leela.
Hi, Leela. Tell us your story.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
I tell you what,
We're ready.
This is the best thing I've ever bought in my life.
Ooh.
I have been wanting one for years and years and years, and I feel so rejuvenated using this. As soon as I get on it and I invert, within seconds, you know, it just relieves so much tension, and the back muscles aren't tight anymore, and it just feels wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I love that. And, you know, it's a way to feel better without taking a pill or doing anything bad for you. Right, Leela?
Exactly. I tell you what, when I was in my 30s, I played racquetball and wound up putting 2 discs out in the bottom of my lower of my spine. And they don't do this anymore, from what I understand. But we were in the military, and I went to a military hospital, and they put me in a traction. It was in a bed, but they tied something to my ankles, and then they would put weights on and leave those weights pull my spine. And they did that for about 4 or 5 days, and those disc went back in, and my spine has been fine down there ever since. And that's what this reminds me of.
Interesting.
This reminds me of that. It really does.
And you know,
it just feels so
you know,
good.
Leela, you've reminded me of something about use for the military, and I'm going to say thank you to you. Thank you for calling. We love your story. And I'm going to throw it over to Roger and Riley, and I want to hear about the military, because I know that there's been, you know, they're very involved in use this item.
Yeah, well, actually, they did a study of 6.5 years. The problem was that everybody in basic training came in running, jumping, twisting, turning, lots of compression injuries. And that would knock up. But the next morning, you know, you'd lose several people from training. And it was actually amounted to 65% of the women, around 40% of the men would have some kind of compression problem during basic training and would lose several days of training. You can't run a program like that.
Right.
So their idea was, let's have everybody in basic training hang 5 minutes at the end of the day. They were using inversion boots, you know, so they're a little, so they're hanging upside down in lines, you know, for 5 minutes, and then passing a medicine ball back and forth to help mobilize the body when it's decompressed. Well, it was so effective in those injuries and misalignments, self-correcting and reducing all the lost training time, that they actually did a DVD video and sent it to every every U.S. Army officer in the world recommending inversion as a way to keep troops
and
fit.
I know Riley was telling me, aren't you going back to
Fort Bragg for a big
Bragg
training session to teach them, you know, again, how to use it and incorporate it. And they're starting to put the inversion tables into their clinics as well.
Isn't he the high ups though, right, in the military?
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of pressure. But I'm really excited.
Are you gonna get like a haircut, like a short haircut to go in there? Riley's gonna get all ready.
I don't know.
But just put on your Girl Scout uniform and you'll feel like
But you know, that's what happens in our own bodies, right? You know that. You do something and you pick up something wrong and you feel your back go out, and it's not until the next day that you're truly in agony. And that's what they learned is if they can get the troops to invert right away, that same day that the injury occurs, they don't go through that next day of the muscles tightening and splinting.
So the military reached back out to you.
Yes, they did. They reached back out to me because, and it's just, like I said, the same thing that is happening in your own life is what they experienced. And this is going on. The military's been doing this, what, Dad?
Oh my gosh, 12, 14 years. You can go on internet, U.S. Army and inversion and see what, you can get an idea of what they're doing.
Well, we got another call.
Oh, fantastic. That's my pay.
Hi, caller. You are live on the air with Helen, Roger, Riley, and Matt. What is your first name and where are you calling from?
My name is Diane.
Diane.
Hi, Diane.
And I'm from Louisiana.
All right.
Hey, tell us your story, Diane.
My story is that I've had Charlie horses just about all my adult life. I am 69 years old, and 3 months ago I ordered the Teeter because it was the right price and I could break it into horses. I haven't had them in almost 6 weeks, and I love it.
I love that you've had great results.
I never thought it would happen, but it did.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for us making specific medical claims here as part of the show, but what I love is that you are happy.
Yes, ma'am, I am, and also I had a knee infection. Knee as much as I could, you know, to release it, and this does it, and I don't have the pain in my knee hardly anymore. So it's really helped me in both matters, and I really appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much for calling. And everybody keep calling. Let me give you our toll-free testimonial line again. It's 1-866-376-8255. So as Diane mentioned, she used FlexPay. That's exclusively for us here at HSN. Everything you're seeing is exclusive for us here at HSN. The price, the top-of-the-line model. This is the latest and greatest, where the bed is now, it's on these 8 different supports where it feels more comfy when you're using it. So for less than the price of one massage, and gosh, I would love to have a massage every 5 minutes, but for less than the price of one massage, you're gonna own this. So $55 to get home, plus shipping and handling is only $10 for the whole thing. So $65, we send it out to you, you see if you love it. I mean, 3 to 5 minutes. We have an hour show, but I wanna remind you, all of our callers, Roger, Riley, Matt, me, we're not on this for an hour and a half. We're on it for 3 to 5 minutes, if that. Like honestly, 2-3 minutes is what I do. I'm like a squirrel. I'm bored easily. So I'm not on this a long time. But let's talk about the quality of your equipment.
You are hanging upside down, clamped by your ankles. Your heart's going to tell you want medical grade equipment. Well, you got it. I want you to show these stickers here. This UL sticker is actually the toughest one. Teeter is the only brand that can earn this sticker and put it on the table. And also I want to put out the CE mark up here. This is actually the equipment that Teeter is cleared for use. Now, this is some of the testing that UL requires. Every single moving part has to be cycled 30,000 times. That is 1,200 pounds, 4 times the maximum user weight. And there you are, 300 pounds, having to cycle, yes, 30,000 times. And you may think that's a lot. No, lots of people like to rock back and forth 20, 30 times in a single session. You know, so 30,000, UL said that's what it needs to be safe, and they know what they're talking about. In fact, I want you to look at this test. Over on the right, there's a vertical line with writing. That is what UL said was required to be safe. This is cycle testing. That UL line says 30,000 cycles with 300 pounds. That long blue line on top, that's us. We went 40,000 cycles, no problem. I actually did sit-ups on that table. After 40,000 cycles, it was totally structurally sound. Look at the lookalikes, and they do look alike, but they use the wrong steel. We use high carbon steel, it's heat treated. They use ordinary steel. Ordinary steel has a problem with fatigue failure. And when you're cycling back and forth, it's like taking a coat hanger. You can take a coat hanger and bend it back and forth and break it in less than a minute. That is fatigue failure, and that's ordinary steel.
Yeah.
We use high carbon steels, heat treated in key components, and design that out. My background, by the way, is aircraft, and I'm trained in how to, redesign and design out fatigue failure, and that's what we've done with the Teeter.
Well, we're gonna go over to Riley. This is the vice president. I salute her. And Riley, wow. I know what yeah, you're like, oh. There's a lot of other great stuff that you can add to your order, like the mat that this is on. And we mentioned the military, and I know some of these exercises were originally created for that.
Exactly. When Roger was talking about the 6-year evaluation that they did with the Teeter Inversion products, they used a lot of stretching to help lengthen the muscles, mobilize the spine is what they called it. And that helped correct those misalignments. So those stretches and exercises are actually printed directly onto this mat.
I love that.
We break it out by beginner angles of 30 or 40 degrees.